everyone, thanks for tuning in to KT Garage. Today we're going to work on a 2019 F250 truck bed cover. So I did have a cover on it and it lasts about 3.5 to 4 years at most. We're in Texas, so it's super hot, and I think I didn't get the correct one for this area because it delaminated. I'm going to show you what the problem is, and I'm going to replace with the aluminum one. We'll go through that with you, and hopefully that'll help you out a little bit on selecting the truck bed cover or a tonneau cover. Just make sure you select the correct one for the area that you're living in. But here in Texas, definitely you need to get the solid aluminum one, not the one that laminate together, because they'll delaminate because of the heat in Texas, and the UV is just destroying it. Okay, so you can see the problem that I'm having. There's like multiple cracks everywhere, and the way they construct this is that this is some kind of synthetic material that has been bonded to, this looks like some kind of nylon or very flexible plastic. So what they do, they just bond it together, they glue them together, and it doesn't last very long apparently. And you can see all this stuff coming off, and I suppose I can fix it and add more glue to it, but I don't think it's gonna last, because you can see that it just like cracks everywhere. So what I'm gonna do first is I'll just go ahead and remove these, and then we're gonna put on the new one that's in this box, and I'll show you what that is, and I'll go over with you why I think that this is gonna last a lot longer than this setup. Okay, so after unboxing the new setup, that's what it looks like. Now this is the roller section, tracks over there, and then over here we get the hardware in this box, and then the manual on how to put it all together. Look like there's some more hardware over there. So this is a RealTruck system, and you can see that these are actually solid aluminum pieces, and it's held together by elastomers or rubber on the inside. So the hinge points are rubber, but these are aluminum, and these are powder coated, so it's gonna last. I think it's gonna last a lot longer than my other setup. We're gonna find out over time, but this does look really good. So let's go ahead and get this thing installed. So first thing first, all I did was just pick up this entire assembly and just set it on the bed of the truck, push it as far back as I can. Make sure this rubber piece is unrolled and then flat on the back, and then you're pretty much done, and move on to the next step. Okay, so the manual looks a little bit busy, but it's quite simple actually. So we just go by step by step. So step 1 and 2, they're just asking you to put the nuts and bolts on these plastic pieces, and these are just like the same size. So that's what I did so far. That's step 1 and 2. So on step 3, they asked to put the plastic bolt into this assembly and then thread this in, but there's no thread on here, so I'm just gonna leave this out for now. And this is what I've done. They wanted to thread into this hole right here, and you can see there's no thread in it, so that it might just need a nut on the other side later. I'll leave that out for now. Okay, so step 4 is to put this assembly up here, which I already done it. Now this is probably a later step, but I went ahead and put the drain lines in. You can see that there's one on the left and then another one on the right, and you just like pop the assembly on. It's super easy. It's from underneath, and since I already have the hole from my last installation, I just like put that on. It's really easy, but for you guys, for the first time, you're gonna have to go through that hole. Okay, so the second part of step 2 is to slide the guardrails and meet up with the roller assembly. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide that on and put a bolt on. Okay, so when you put the rails on, there's a little bit of a lip here, and this goes inside. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it goes inside about a quarter of it in. So you gotta like lift this whole thing up a little bit, try to force it in, and then top of the end with the mallet, just so you can push it in far enough for you to line up this bolt down here. There's this one bolt, and I fought it for a few minutes because it's not going in far enough. But keep tapping the end with your hammer or your mallet, and then torque this up. It's not too bad. Okay, so next we're gonna slide this on the rail. The stopper is gonna go on into the rail. You can see where the nut is, and you line up that nut with that rail, and you push it forward. And there's 3 of these per side, and of course one is gonna be far down, one in the middle, and then one on this end. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this side and the other side. Okay, so next we're gonna put the end caps on, and this is towards the end of the truck. And you just gotta get the nut to go through the track where this other piece goes in. So you're gonna slide that on and then push it forward. Okay, so next we're gonna put this tiny little screw on, and we're gonna tighten it. Then this bottom bolt here, you just tighten up to 5 foot-pound with an Allen wrench. Okay, so these are latch stop. You can see there's a little hole that the latch goes into. If you want to put an optional in the middle of the truck, you just want to make sure you line them up. So I pull up to this point, and then I go to this side, and then I place this latch on the same distance, because the latch will have to come in at the same time. So you want to make sure that it lines up properly. And then back here, this stop got to go like all the way butt up against this end piece, and then you just tighten them up on both sides. So now your latch assembly is done. So apparently I missed a step where I'm supposed to slide a nut in between this latch assembly and all the other stuff. So without the nut being in here, I can't really install this latch assembly and or the clamp assembly. So what I did was I have to remove this piece and then the ends assembly, so I can go ahead and get this one in first. And the way they show it is from the manual. They want you to just slide this nut on and get it down there, and then you're gonna try to make up this bolt with a nut being in here. It's very difficult to do it. So I found a much easier way. I'm gonna show you how to do it from this end. So I already get that end installed. So after that one, you can go ahead and slide the latch assembly for the midpoint, because all of this has to go in order, otherwise it won't work. And then on this end, when I pre-assemble the nut like that, I can just get it on the track, and then I can turn it back this bolt out, all the way out to get this clamp behind. You see this wall right here, or this whole edge. So you get this clamp, and then you go behind the lip, and then so you can clamp it together. So get this piece behind, and then make up this bolt again, and then you can tighten up the bolt down there. And this is to make adjustments for how far you want the track to go in and out. So after getting that piece on, I get this one on, and then I can go ahead and get my latch assembly, the last one. So remember guys, all this has to go in sequence, otherwise it won't work, because the track only take one piece at a time. You can't insert it from anywhere. So and then this goes on, let it loose, put the ends on, and then butt up against it, and then torque everything. So the order goes the end piece, and then this latch assembly, clamp assembly, the midpoint latch assembly, and then the clamp assembly here, and then the latch assembly. So yeah, make sure you get the right order, because there's only one way to slide in and out. Okay, so I did the passenger side as well, just like on the driver's side. There's the end cap, latch, then the lock assembly, or the clamp assembly, and then the midpoint, and then down there's a clamp and latch. So now I'm at the point where I'm gonna go and pull the track back, and then they suggest to use a spacer. There it is. So you look at the end, and you want to make sure that you give it this clearance. Look like, I don't know, 3/16 or something like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Here's the provided spacer, and what they want to do is having this much clearance from the back of the tailgate to the track. So this is where it is. I'm gonna go do same thing for the other side, and then at that point I can go ahead and tighten this up. To adjust this screw right here, and this one, so this one will help to level this way. You can see a little bit flimsy because there's nothing in the back of it, but as you tighten this bolt, you can see the level changes, and you just want to make sure that is kind of nice and straight. The level is this way, so make sure that it's nice and level, and then you go ahead and tighten this screw. So this is what pulling the clamp on the back end, and make sure you don't over tighten it. So at this point I think we're good. I'm gonna go and see when I close the tailgate, see how it goes. Well, it's finally done. It's looking great. So I made a couple of adjustments from just standing back here and look at the level of the truck. Sorry, the level of the rails, and you can see like right now it's looking nice and straight. And same thing on the other side. Yeah, you can see it's nice and straight. So just adjust those two screws and it's gonna work out. So here we are. Real nice. So I started out working on the truck around 9 o'clock this morning, and now it's around noontime. You can see the sun is almost straight. So 3 hours installation. Now it could have gone a little quicker if I didn't screw up the order of the nuts. I forgot about one of the nuts that I have to go back and take a few things out. So other than that, the assembly went through very nicely, and I think the manual is great. Now the one feedback that I would have on the manual is that, you know, the nut that I missed, that's kind of very misleading. So they should have just have us put a bolt in and then put a nut in, instead of just slide a nut by itself on the track. And that way you don't have to go and try to make it up while the nut is in the track. And I totally missed that nut, and there's no way to get it in. It's just a one-way loading of the nuts and all the pieces. So all the pieces got to be lined up properly to the right order, otherwise it won't work. So when you do that, just make sure that you get all your stuff lined up properly before you make anything up. Otherwise you're gonna waste a bunch of time trying to redo everything. So that's my lesson learned. Anyway, I really like the design. I think the aluminum pieces is going to work out really well in the Texas weather when it's really hot here in the summer. And with powder coated aluminum, I think it's going to last way longer, but time will tell. I appreciate you guys tuning in to KT Garage. If you like the content, please like and subscribe. Thank you.